Hello everyone, Key of W here with Artisan of Glimmith, and let's get started. Oh, I'm excited to almost be done with this. Man, I wish I had been done with this a month and a half ago. Why do I play video games? Why am I alive? Why do bad things happen to good people? So I got 1, 2 here, 3, 4 there. Where's the 5th one? Or are there 3 in this area? I just don't see them. Here's real quick. Yeah, there's one over here. Wait, there's one over here? Ah, yeah, I see. Yes. Okay, well, we can probably start with that guy. So we've got, hold on a second, 60. Okay, so we got them all. See, I liked learning that there were, in fact, 12 pentominoes. I learned that from this game, not because the game taught me, but because I just ended up figuring it out because I took enough detailed notes. I just ended up figuring out that these are your pentominoes, and we use letters, blah, blah, blah. If you know, you know. If you don't know that, sorry, you just have to know this, apparently, to play this game. So here's the 12 pentominoes you can have, right? So 12 times 5 is 60. That was a fun thing to learn. I did a few puzzles where it was important to know that. But this is now like the 20th puzzle where this knowledge is important. And so, like, I've already done this. Great, we're starting this video off on the right foot. I've already done this puzzle. I'm not interested. I've done this puzzle 5,000 times. Not really, but I've done this one enough times to where that is no longer an interesting thing to see. So I know this is the P shape. I know that's what it's going to be. Right? It's like the developers are like, okay, so now that we have this idea that mismatch with pentominoes and with 60 spaces means you have to use each pentomino, every single one of them, exactly one time. And so now let's try a version of mismatch with this rule, or this thing with this rule, this one with that rule, this one with that rule. But it's not different enough to be interesting, right? Like, I don't need to fit all 12 pentominoes in with every single possibility. You surely could have edited this down to 2 or 3 puzzles. And then later on, you either have DLC or in the puzzle designer, you let your rabid fan base, which you would definitely have more of if you had an edited game, you would let your rabid fan base take care of that. Trust me, we will make all of these puzzles for you. There's going to be somebody who's into this game who will make all the puzzles you didn't think of, or the ones that you cut. And you cut those puzzles for a good reason, because they aren't as good, and we'll make them because we aren't as good as you. Is that how it works? Like, I'm criticizing this game, but could I do better? No, I could not make a better game. I just know when bullshit is bullshit. I know it. Doesn't mean I could make this game better, and if you asked me to make this puzzle, I would do a shit job. But you should be cutting those shit puzzles and letting us take care of them. You shouldn't put them in your game. Anyway, can we just move on now? We can just move on now. There's got to be a wall here. There's got to not be a wall here. Don't know what that one is. There's got to be... Okay, hold on. We could have one here, or we could make this all one unit. But either way, this is a new region. This region cannot be that region at all. Because if so, we'd have to do something like that. We can't do one of these bad boys because it breaks every single rule so many times. Straight to jail forever. So we could move this up. We can move this over. Yeah, either this orange piece is going to move in or this yellow piece is going to move in. Because if neither of them do, then we have 2 more regions and we have a 4 region circus here. We have 3 regions. 3 regions here, so I still could have the P shape go. But this has to be a new region, for sure. 2 regions means what? Doesn't really mean much here. This is 2 regions. Here, I'm going to say we got orange, we got yellow. This one here, this actually could be the same region. You could have one of these things happen. Here, though. This is going to be tricky. This set right here. This one, I don't know. 2 3s next to each other, like we can... Because of the precision here, I can't cut... These 2 can't be the same unit. Because if these 2 are the same unit ever, then we have to have a wall here and there, which means this is a maximum of 3. Therefore, we know we need a wall here. Now, if I have a wall here, This is technically possible. We would have these together, which would mean this. No, because we already have a P shape here. The P shape is the only pentomino that has a 2x2 in it, which is why I know that's the P shape, by the way. So this is a wall. This being a wall would force these two together, which means this all has to be one unit. And this, yeah, this would just be what it is. That is not a wall, which means these are the walls. So this has to cut through. This could be this unit here, or we could do this. It's always possible. Now, if I put a wall here, we're screwed if there's a wall here. Because now this piece has to go in because we can't have orphan cells, and now we can't do anything if there's a wall there. So that's where the wall, or sorry, there's no wall here, so these are the walls. Which means we can bring this out, or we can bring it this way. So L shape is here. We can also do an N shape. If I put a wall here, then this would be an I shape. We'd have that. If I have this here, it's again like L. Well, if I had a wall here, not only would I have the I shape there, but this would either be an S shape or an L shape. That's really not getting me enough. Let me look somewhere else. This is fine. 2 and 2 is not really helpful. These two got to go together. Which means these two got to go together. Is there any way there's a wall here? I don't think so. Because if there's a wall here, then we've got to go like that, which isn't going to work. So these are all together and make this orange. I'm just using orange and yellow when I don't know. So we've got a very orangey, yellowy piece here. So now we've got both regions in this block. So the options are either there's, no, if there's a wall here, we have an I shape, so we'd have this happen. There's not a wall here, we could make this an L shape, which case we'd have to have something here. But there's also the possibility that there's a wall there, in which case we could easily bring this around. So I don't quite have enough information to do anything here. Could I do it this way? Yeah. That makes the L shape there. If I brought this around, like so, right? Like, we'd have that go here, there's a wall, and I bring this around, we'd have to do this. Is that fine? That's fine. Don't know. Maybe there's a possible way of thinking of which shape will go where. There might be only one spot for a particular shape, but again, I'm not far enough into the puzzle to know that. This is going to have two regions. If I put a wall here, again, that's the L shape, then this one becomes 1, 2, and it can bend here. It's actually not really that restricted. If I can't put a wall there, these two have to go together. That's got to go there, but again, it could be part of this or part of that. Assuming a wall here, definitely can't do that. We would bring this out, which we couldn't do this because then we'd have an I, we couldn't have an I there or an L there. So if we put a wall, if we put a wall here, right? We would have to make an S shape, I shape. This would be rather tricky. That would have to go there. This would have to come here. We couldn't make an I shape. We couldn't make an L shape. We'd have to put that there. We'd have to make a Y or an N shape. To get tricky in this area, but not too tricky. No, this piece here can't connect there. It'd have to go here. And now this piece is nowhere to go. So I don't think it's possible to put a wall there. I think that's what I need to walk through that again because I'm not entirely sure. I feel like I was just really off the deep end with that answer to the puzzle. So let me put a wall there. Let me say, let's lock it in. We're not really locking it in. We're going to unlock this in very shortly. So I'm going to move this piece out this far. But this piece is now locked into being an I shape, right? We would have to lock that in. So the I shape is off the table. So this piece now can't bend up because we do that. Now if we make this the L shape, the I and the L are now taken. This piece is to come out. Anything it takes will be an I or an L. So we would have to make this an S shape. This comes out. And then this piece here can't be part of the S shape, it has to come down. This piece can't be part of it, has to come down as well. Now, this is an orphan cell, has to be part of the orange. Now this 3 plus this 3 can't go together, so we have to move this out. This has to be here. This piece now has nowhere to go. It can't be part of either yellow, and it can't be part of this red. So yes, that is going to break the puzzle like so. That's what I was looking for, was a break. So we have to bring these two together. Now the question is, do we bring all of this together, or do we cut it off here? Maybe, let's assume we cut it off and we make this shape here. We now have an N shape, which means we definitely have to take this out. No, we can't. Well, now we have to make the P shape up here. Because see, we have to have 3 regions. This region is done. According to this guess that I'm making, right? It's done, which means if the red one is done here, we have 4 regions. So I have to do that, meaning here we don't do that. We have just 2 regions. So this piece now has got to bend down this far at least. It can't be part of this one can't be part of that, so that's what we got to do here. We've got an I shape. Now that has to be here. Yeah, this is screwed. We can't do that. So we can't bring those. So I'm pretty sure we got to do that. And I think, you know what, I want to do a second time just for my own peace of mind. We're assuming a wall goes there. Well now, yellow and red, these can't go together, right? So this piece comes down. We can either bend or go down. We're not totally sure yet. This piece now is an N shape. This comes out. Once again, we have the 3 region problem because these walls are here. So this one or that one, meaning that it won't be any of these, right? All of that can't happen. 2 regions is this. Now this piece here could be part of that region. So yeah, this is why I need to double check, because there was another way out of this. Is that this piece is here. And now we have space in here to do something. No, we don't. Hold on. Now we have to, I'm going to change colors of this so I can make this blue. So what does this blue region do? So this orange region and this yellow region here are either together or not. If they're not together, then this orange region has to extend out. The blue's got to extend down. And now the blue can't be the orange or the red, and it's out of space, so it must take this and be the L shape. This must be the I shape. And now the orange and the yellow, since they're not together, there's not enough space for them. Now, if we say the orange is part of the yellow, there's 2 ways we can do it. An S shape here. The trouble is now, if I make this yellow here, we now have an orphaned area. So it can't be part of that. It has to be a P shape, which we can't do. So the other way is a W shape like this. Now the trouble is we have both of our regions. We have to do this, and there's no way to fill it in. So I think that's how it's going to go. Yeah, that's how it would go. If we do this, we can't do that. And if we don't take all of these spaces, we take those. Yeah. So this is all wrong as well. That was a really long-winded way to work out that I think I have to have my L shape here. I'm going to lock it in because I think I'm right. Now I have to have that shape like this because we have 2 regions here. This region still could be part of that. We don't know if it's different. We could have an N shape here. We could have an F shape. We can have a T shape. Whatever we can't do is that. If I moved this piece in, then either that or that. It's not that helpful. If I put an F shape here, I think we'd break the puzzle. And here's why. F shape means what goes here. It can't be a unique piece. It can't be this because it overloads and it breaks the watchtower. So either this piece moves in or that piece moves up, which means the walls go here in this 3 region. So now this orange doesn't have enough places to go. So the F shape isn't possible. We have to put a wall here. We either have an N or a T. A T shape is going to force this to be the I, which so far is fine. An N shape, however, is going to force absolutely nothing. So, cool. Cool. We'll at least have this much so far. What happens if I put a wall? Like, if I don't have this be the same region. If I put a wall here, then we got to move this out. And then we could move down if we'd like and connect. Or we can move up if we like. I don't know if that's going to work. If I put the wall here, right, I have to move out. If I move up, the 3 region thing means I got to put another region here. This can't go there, and this can't block in this kind of stuff. We'd have to have that happen. So I still have to move down no matter what. And then I can't move this way, so I'd have to take this over. And then either that or that has to happen. Which means I'd have a new region here. And it would connect there. And either be a V shape. No, it would have to be like that. This has to be like that. And I would be screwed. Am I correct with this? Again, I gotta walk back into this. This is very tedious, by the way. So, if I... Hold on, we had a thought down there. If this comes out, if I put a wall here, that's the thing. So this is a wall in that spot. Out. This can only move one space up, can't move anywhere else without breaking the puzzle. So we have to move down at least twice. That makes us this. That means there's a space in here that's got to be used. And it's got to connect here. Can't be that shape because it blocks in the yellow. So it has to be that shape and it breaks. Yeah. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Just making sure. That's got to be there. So now we either have to have this shape or that shape. And either way, we now have all 3 regions in this zone. Which means this is where the doubling is. That's that. And so this actually has to move out so that it can be whole. Which means this or that. Still don't know. That's there. So we either have an I shape here, or we can't have an L shape or an I shape there. This is the I shape guaranteed. I usually like to make those yellow. We have a lot of yellow on the page already. So there you go. Just make it not, I don't know. So we could bring a T shape in here. We could bring whatever this shape is in. But these 2 shapes can be the same. I'm actually going to make this orange just in case those connect. Yeah, we can't do that. One of these, we could also do this. Can I get any better than this? That shape is different than the red, but is it different from that? Huh. If I brought this piece down and said it wasn't there, then all of a sudden I have to get this orange piece 5. I can't do that way. That's a P shape. I have to do it this way. I have to have an N shape here and an N shape there. That's not going to happen. So this can't take that. This has to be the T shape, which I usually like being purple. So let's get rid of T and L. I think I'm good. I think this is correct. I hope it is, because if it's not correct, I'm really in trouble. If I move this piece left, it isn't the red, this orange one, so it has to be part of that orange if I do that, which means I have to have a W shape. If I don't move this here, if I just move it up there, I can't take any of these spots. So I've got to have my W shape here. So that's that. The I shape has to be here. Yeah, we know that. The trouble here, now I think the P shape has to be like so, because if it isn't, this piece has to come out. It can't bend here. It can't... okay, yeah, we can do that though. Actually, we can totally do it. So... Can I... Whatever piece goes here, that comes out, if I say it's not this orange, if I don't connect it and bring it out, now it doesn't have to move down here, but it can't move up. So we'd have this going on, and then this would have to move this direction, in which case it can't do this. It is an I shape, which we've already used. Therefore, this is how this goes. And now this piece can't move here. It can because it could be an F shape. If it moves, if this is the shape it takes, it's here. If it takes this shape, it can't take that one, so it's here. So there's either an N shape or an F shape, both of which are available because if only 1, 2, 3, 4 shapes are out and one of them is spoken for. If I did this, right, then this piece here would be screwed. So we do in fact have to have an F shape like so. I don't know if I'm actually on the right track. That's the thing. We have to have a wall here. This has got to be a new shape. This has to be a shape. But we could put... If I put a wall here, we'd have to do... this, and we would have a problem. I think this has to connect there. So what's left? N shape this could be. This could be Y. That's really all it could be. I still need a C shape and an X shape. Those are harder to find spots for some reason. If I blocked this, we'd have a Y shape. If I didn't block it, we'd have an N shape. This is either Y or an N. Now, if I make this an N shape, this piece has to come out, and then it couldn't be an N. Could be a V. I don't know. I'm guessing now. And I'm assuming this is all correct. I feel like it is. Most puzzles, if you're making progress, you're doing it right. If you've made a mistake, it pretty quickly breaks down. But some puzzles don't break down with a mistake until much later, which I find aggravating to deal with because it's really hard to find the mistake. Usually, if you make a mistake in a puzzle, you should catch it quick. That's how they should be designed. But sometimes they aren't designed that way. If I brought this up, we'd be fine. If I brought this down, would anything happen? I generally don't know what to do with this. If I did this, I would have to bring this piece down, because if I didn't, I'd have an L or an I. So I'd have to bring this down. I wouldn't be able to do that. So it'd be a Y or a V. A V makes a really tricky statement up here. So it would have to probably be a Y. Well, the thing is, a Y is what's this now? Y and N are taken in this hypothetical, so is P. So what is this? It's not a V. It's not an X. It's not an S. It's not a C. So I don't think that's how that's going to go. If this was a V, V and N are taken, and it's just P. So C, S, X, or Y, none of them really fit up here. So I think... Wait, yeah, none of them really fit. So I think this has to be a Y. But I'm not 100% sure. Is this how the puzzle's going to go? Is that I got to do some weird guessing bullshit at the end? Hope not. The X still needs a spot to be, and the center piece of the X, I'm going to mark spots. The center of the X can be here, here, and here. It can't actually be there, because that would block this piece in. So these spots can have the center of the X. This can, these all can. This cannot, because it'll leave an empty space there. So this can, well, no. This can't be the center of the X. Because now what do we do here? We can't have an L, we have to have a C, and now what do we put in here? A Y? Oh. No, we can put that in, we can do it. Thought I had that. So this X here actually works out really nicely, but X here forces an N, right? Putting an X in that spot, because Y is, we're never going to fill that in. So this would be here, this 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'd have a problem. So no to that spot. X can be here? X and C are probably going to go together, because that's how that would have to go. And then if we don't move that red down, we'd have to make another P shape. So we'd have to do this, and then we'd have a problem. So X can't go there either. X can go here, maybe? It wouldn't... No, this wouldn't happen. Because if there's an X here, we got to ask what this is, right? I think it has to be a Y. I don't think that works. I'm just not 100% sure why yet. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. Does this work? No. So these two are the most likely candidates for X, but there's a possibility there. I'm gonna work this one out. I'm gonna suss this out a bit more. So the question, if we have an N shape, this is what would have to happen. Then we'd have to have 1, 2, 3. We'd have to have a Y shape here. That forces a P shape. So, but if we have a Y shape here, now this 1, 2, 3 can't be an S. An F shape is already taken. W shape is already taken. So no to that. But if it was here, We have the N shape and we have a P shape again. So no, this is not where that goes. So the X shape's got to be one of those two as the center. So here or here, which actually, strangely enough, makes both of these part of the X. It kind of feels like I got to pick one and then run with it. If I pick this one and run with it, we have these shapes going in. And then we would have C, Y, X, P spoken for. So N, S, V in these things. And how would I fit N, S, and V? I don't know if I would. Because something would have to go here. It wouldn't be the V. No. It would be the S. That puts... it doesn't do it. NS or NSV. N would be like this. And we wouldn't be able to fill in. So I think we actually have to take the other side. This is terrible. I don't think this is how you're supposed to do it. I think we have to take this one. And then we'd have to have a Y piece here. And then we definitely couldn't have that. We could have it there. Couldn't have it there, but that might be it. But these would all go together. But either way, we have the C and the X taken care of, the Y taken care of. So the P needs to be finished. We have N, S, and V again. So this could have to be V, N, S. Yeah, here it is. This is the answer to the puzzle. See? All right. So this is your Y. We're going to fit the Y shape in here. Then we're going to fit in an X right here. Get rid of the notes. The C shape is going to go here. So now in this spot is where we're going to put our S shape. And put our V over there. And then here and that. So serviceable puzzle. Nothing wrong with it except I've done it. I've done this sort of thing. It's not that exciting anymore, right? Like, it's just the developers seem to be afraid to let any ideas go. Like, they thought, oh, this mismatch plus precision makes an interesting thing where if you make a thing with 60 cells, you got to figure out how to get one of each thing in. And, like, that's interesting a few times, but it just, I run out of patience for that. You've got to do something else? I just marvel at some of these other puzzle games that manage to fit more content into less space, and this game feels like it has less content in more space. Yeah, 1,200 puzzles, but really there's only 100 original ones, and we just do them over and over. And so it's not only bloated, but it makes it feel paradoxically too large and too small. The game is too large because it's taken me months to 100% this, and this is not the type of game that should take months to 100%. It just should not take that amount of time. It's too long. There's so much stuff in it. It's like, it's too big, but it's also too small because the game's sheer size reveals, plain for everyone to see, that they don't have 1,200 puzzles worth of content. They made 1,200, but they have only maybe a couple hundred ideas. And again, having a director of a game, someone taking that role, maybe somebody else on the team just kind of fills in that role of director or whatever. Having somebody do that role who's competent at it would get it shut down about 10% into development as they're discussing what they're putting in the game. They'd be saying, okay, scope it. How big is this? Do you really have 1,200 ideas? No, you don't. Let's cut this down. Right? That is just what would happen if they had a director, somebody competent to watch over them. But they didn't, and now I'm stuck. I'm being forced. The government is making me do this, play all 1,200 puzzles, and feel like the game is crap because of it. Whereas if this puzzle had just been cut, not this one, if this puzzle had either just been cut or other puzzles had been cut to make room for this one, not as much of a problem, because I would still be looking at this going, that's a unique original thing, right? But it isn't, because this is the billionth time I've done it. And nothing really new was provided here. It was just something I had to do. Anyway, more content is not equal better, and in fact, more content is 90% of the time the wrong option. 90% of the time, I'm just saying it, 90% of the time, your game should be cut down, not increased. The only times it needs to be increased is if you underscoped to begin with, which is very rare, but some people do that. Let's do this one. It looks it's a pretty guy. Okay, mismatch with boxiness. That's cool. So, I'm going to have to take some notes on this bad boy. Right down here, we either have a single, a domino, or a triomino thing. So, right, 1 by 1, 1 by 2, and 1 by 3 are all possibilities. And if I can work out which one this is, or get something else off the table, we can clear that out. We also have this space in here. Whatever's in this little guy can either 1 by 1 or 1 by 2. It can also be a 2 by 2. We're going to mark it this way. Yeah, 2 by 2. So we have 3 possibilities in here, as well as here. So we've got to do something different in each. Can I do any more with that? This spot here can be 1 by all the way to 5. Well, this can't be a 1 by 2 space, because this is a 1 by 2 space that occupies here. Now this guy, it could be the single, but that's risky. It can't be a 1 by, no, it can't be a 1 by 3. Yeah, it can. 1 by 3, that makes 1 by 2. That makes 1 by 1, and now, now I don't have anything for these two. So 1 by 1 is theoretically possible. 1 by 2 is possible because then we have a 1 by 1, and then we have... Oh, no, we don't. Because then what goes here? This has to be at least 3, and now down here is single or double. So 1 by 1 is here. 1 by 4 makes a 2. Then we can have a 3. And we... Oh, no. Hold on a second. Be smart, Key of W. Be smart. Let's assume we have a single 1 by 1 here. How the hell do we fill the rest of this? Because of the mismatch. We'd have to have a 1 by 2 here. And then we have a single. And the same goes here. If this is a single, then this has to be at least 1 by 2, making a single there. Or that. No singles in here. This is 1 by 2, and the other one's 2 by 2. So the question is which one's which. We're not... This space. Let's think about that corner right here. If this space is the 1 by something, it goes this way, and then we have that. It doesn't go that way. Unless it's that. That didn't really help me. But I've got to have my 1 by 2 is in here somewhere, plus 2 by 2. And then same with that. We've got to put those over there. So that means I can't have a 1 by 2 anywhere else. So if I have a 1 by 2 in that spot, right, then here, what goes there? It can't be the single and it can't be the 1 by 2. Therefore, whatever goes here cannot go out at all. Because it can't be the 1 by 2. It's going to be used here. It can't go further than that because now this is a 1 by 2 and it can't be used there. Therefore, this is your single. Boom. Single's taken care of. It's off the table. Now, this spot here can't be a single. We've used it. Can't be the domino because it's going to be used up there. This has got to be the triomino. We've used that. I think that is correct. So now, these are the ones I've floated, but we can also take, let me see, and our ones. We've got 1 by 2, 1 by 4. I'm just going to start marking things. I can keep going, but I'm going to stop at 7 on this because I feel like much higher it's a little silly. 2 by 2, 2 by 3, 2 by 4, and let's think about 3 by 3, 3 by 4. At this point, it's kind of hard to find space for anything this big. 4 by 4. Chances are we're not even going to get this high. But these are all some things we can make. That means I got a 1 by 2 somewhere in here, which means this spot can't have a wall, because if this has a wall, we have a 1 by 2, which is going to be used here. So whatever goes here has got to come up. And it can't have a wall here because then we have a 1 by 3, which we've already used. So we have to have at least 2 by 2 there, but it can't be because we're going to have a 2 by 2 in here. So we got to have 2 by 3 like so. Just changing colors. So 2 by 3 is done. Wish I could erase finer points, but that's fine. Honestly, I should get rid of the minor nitpicks for this game for 2 reasons. For 3 reasons. 1, annoying as fuck to minorly nitpick games sometimes, like, just give it a rest. Number two, this game has major problems. The minor nitpicks really don't add up in this case. The major problems need to be fixed. And number three, if somehow the devs found me make a minor nitpick about the game's eraser being too large, they would go, ah, yes, let's not fix any of the real problems. Let's spend all our time making an update for the eraser, which we announced to our thousands of adoring fans. Because it seems like they keep updating this game for things which, you know, they're not bad updates, but they're not addressing any of the problems with the game, because in their minds, they didn't make any mistakes with that. The mistakes they made were forgetting to do a color wheel thing. Like, get a fucking grip, guys. So, what else do I mean, 3x3 fits really nicely there, but I don't have any guarantees there. I could put a wall here just fine. I can't put a wall there, because then we have a 1x2. So these two gotta go together. I can't put a wall here, obviously. So these two go together. The question is, do they go together like so? That is not a wall, because then we have 1, 2, or 3, which are all spoken for. So these go together like so, which means there is a wall there. Can I do better than this? There can't be a wall here, because we'd have a 1, 2, or 3. So that goes together. There can't be a wall there. There also can't be a wall here, because now we have a 2x2, which is going to be spoken for. Can't have a wall there, because then we have either 1x3 or 2x3, both of which are spoken for. So that goes there, which means this does not come out. If we have this come out, right? Now this spot is a 1x3. So that's that. So we have a 1 by at least 4. At least that. This could connect here. We could be fine. In fact, it will connect, because if we don't connect here, we have at least 2. We can't have a 4, because then we have 2 of those, and we can't have a 3, because we have it down there. So all of that connects. We have ourselves a 1 by 8, which is bigger than I imagined here, but that is totally valid. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, this is 8 long as well, which means if I put a wall here, we're screwed. Right? Because I can't do a 1, I can't do a 2, I can't do a 3, and I can't do a 4, because a 4 will make 2 4s. And if I have a 5, I have a 3 opposite it. A 6 makes a 2 opposite. A 7 makes a 1 opposite. Therefore, we have to have at least this. We can't have a 2x2 because it's going to go in here. So we have to have at least 2x4. And could I stop it there? No. If I stop it here, the question now becomes, what do I put there? If I make it 2 by something, can't be 1x2, that'll be up here. Can't be 2x2, that'll be up here. Can't be 2x3, that's there. Can't be 2x4, because we just made it. If I put a wall here, now we have a 1x4, possibly. That's nice, but then this needs to be 1x4, because 1, 2, and 3 are taken, but now 4 was just taken. So this needs to be 2x5 at the very least. Make this a slightly different color. There we go. Now, if I bring this up, I think we break the puzzle. I think we have to stop here. Okay, I think this is not where the 2x2 goes. If I put the 2x2 here, now the question is what goes in this area. I can't put a wall there because then we have a 1x3. Or smaller, which isn't going to work, because I've used everything smaller than that. Or at least they're spoken for. But if I do this here, I can't make 2x3 or 2x2, so I'd have to make 3x3, and now we have a 1x2 in there, which is going to be used up here because we used the 2x2 over there, right? So that's not going to work. The 1x2 goes here, and it goes right there. It doesn't go this way because now this piece here is 1, 2, 3, or 4, and we can't leave a single space, so we'd be out of luck. So we have to do this. We make a 1x5 right here, and then we have a 2x4, which is totally valid. So I think that is how it's going to go. We're going to put the 2x2 here, so I can just draw it in. And I hope to God that I have done this correct. 1x2 is done, 1x5 is done, so we still have 1x4 in there. 2x4 is done. So the 2s are going to be tricky because I need to make it bigger than 2x5 because I've got 2x2, 3, 4, and 5 already. So I need to make a bunch of 3s. Actually, I might have this. No. No, I don't. I have it. I think I have it. Is that right? No, I don't think I do. Ah, shoot. Okay, let me think about this more. I thought I just needed to do one of these, but I don't. Because this works. It's 2x6. The trouble is, what is this? Because I've got 2x5, but 2x5 is taken. And I can't make 1x5, because even though 1x5, well, 1x5 is taken, and I'd have 2 of them. And if I said 1x4, 1x4 isn't taken yet, but then what the hell do I put here? 1x2. So that is not how this is going to go. I can leave this as a 1x4. I can also do this. Now, if I make this a 2x4, I have to go at least 6, and now this is a problem. It is not a problem. The puzzle is solved. So this right here is a 2x6, which we can have. We've done that. Now we're going to have a 1x4, which is legal in this state. Then we're going to have a 1x6 here, which is also legal. I checked. I asked. And then here we just have a 3x4 and a 3x3, and we will have this puzzle as good as solved. That was on the easier side, actually, for being a 7, but I liked it. It was slightly different from what I've done. Like, I've done some boxy puzzles, but that one we haven't done yet. It feels somewhat fresh. But I feel like it's very hit or miss whether the puzzles I'm doing feel fresh. This is the same puzzle now. See, it's the same rules. We have a slightly different rules, like, applicability of the rule set, but that's what we have here. So once again, I'm going to try to draw the chart a little different. So we have our 1x. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to start drawing. So like 7, 8, 9. I'm probably not going to have anything larger than that, but who knows. In our 2x column, can I draw it out here? No, the game doesn't let you draw notes on the outside, which is silly. It should let you draw notes on the outside. 2x, I'm going to do it this way. 2 times 2, not times 1, because that would just be the 1/2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think at this point it's a little silly. It's not going to get bigger than that. 3x, 3 times 3, 4, 5, 6. Who knows? I doubt I'm going to get a 4x4 block anywhere, so let's not even bother with that. But you see, you have a lot of options. Don't think the number of cells is going to mean anything. So here is where we start with these 1-bys. So this can be 1 to 3. Draw notes. This can be a 1 to 3 going up. This one can be a 1 to 4 going across. And this can be a 1 to 4 going across. And this is a 1 to 4 going down. So that means all of these right here are going to be taken because of this set right here. Somebody's got to be a 1x1. And it's not going to be you. Because if this is a 1x1, we have to put another 1 by something. And so we'll have a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, not in that order. And then here won't fit because we won't have anything left. So this is actually 2 to 4. Unfortunately, I don't think I get anywhere else from that. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So think about if I go almost all the way. If I go almost all the way, right here, I have to have a 1x5. Right? Because the first 4 are used. They are spoken for. I haven't put them on the map yet, but they are going to be used. So if I make this a 3, this becomes a 1x5. And now this here can't be a 1 by anything. So this is not a 3. This is a 1, 2, or a 4. Maybe this isn't helpful yet, but we'll see. Can I do this better over here? This here cannot be a 2 because then we have a 1x5 and a 1x4, or a 1 by something that doesn't work because it has to, any 1 by has to be at least 5. So this can't be a 2, it's a 1 or a 3 going up. This one, if it's a 3, this is fine. This one, if it's a 3, we're probably fine. I can't put a wall here. If I put a wall here, I have a 1, 2, 3, or a 4, which is taken. So these two are going to go together. This is a 2 by something, at least this far. 2 times, it's going to be 2, 3, or 4. 2 to 4 down here. So somewhere in there. Now, if I put a wall here, I think we're also busted because these have to be 1 bys. And that can't be anything smaller than 5, so they both have to be 5, and we're screwed. So these are 2 bys. This is 2 to 5, going up. And now on this side here, we can't do this because these would both be 5s. We would be screwed because we can't use anything smaller than that. So this is a 2 by, and then 2 to 5 going this way. Now, This is the same deal. Yeah, it's the same deal here. So this is a 2 to 5 going that way. So I have 2 sets of these things to do. Now, can I bust this by trying things? If I go this far, this is now the 1, and then this is a 1 by 6, which is fine. If I bring this one all the way up, this has to be a 1 by 2, and we're fine. This would make the single, and we'd be fine. This would make... at least a 3 here. Because I still have a 1 by 6 available. What if I did that? I don't know. But I know now that these are spoken for. If I ever have a place that's 2 by something, it can't be these. So in fact, this can no longer be a 2. If this is a 2, we have that. Or this. And these are both, they're all spoken for. So, because we can't do this, because that'd be a 1 by 3 or something like that. So this is at least 3. Now, the thing about doing 3 is I have to then at least go this far. And I actually have to go all the way up and have to make this. Oh, hold on a second. I should pay attention more to the puzzle. What's that? This is 5 plus, which means I can't make this a 3. Because if I make this a 3, now I have to do 1 by something. No matter what I do, this is now locked to something smaller than 5, which are all taken by these outer reaches. So this here has to go at least that far, meaning this is in fact 4. Let's change the color to lock in. We now have a 4, so this is 1 to 3. This is 1 or 2. And this is what it was before. This is 5 plus, so it must go here. We don't know which one it's going to be yet. The 4 is taken care of. Because I can bring this out even further if I like. If I stop it at 5, it's going to... Ooh, we have another spot right here where this is 5 plus. Will this affect it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe. Well, let's imagine that this is a 1. I have to do this at least. I would have to. That'd be fine. Imagining it that's a 3 doesn't do much. If I don't bring this out all the way, it's still fine. Yeah, okay. I don't really get much from that yet. Do I see any other spots I should have figured out before? I kind of got a feeling I'm going to do some big bricky things in here. Do you know what I mean? I have a feeling that that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be the size of these. Got to figure out how it goes. But this is a 1 or a 2. If this is a 1, does that change anything? What if this is a 2? Let's work that out. Because this is a 1 or 2. This can't be a 2. So what if this was a 2 over here? Suddenly, this can't be a 1, so this has to be a 2 as well, and it's going to be something that's locked in. So this can't be a 2, it's a 1 or a 3, like the one down here, which means this is the 2. It's the only thing that can be the 2, so let's change the color to mark that we've done it. So now these, we can't put a solo because we're going to have this. These go together, and in fact, they're going to have to be part of this, because if they're not part of this, then we have to find a 2 by something that's larger than a 5 out of these, and we won't have that. So these all go together. 2 by 5. So now, this is 2 to 4. This is 2 to 4. Here. So the 2 by 5 is taken care of. The 1 by 2 is taken care of. So 1 or 3 with all these. Means this can't go all the way out. So if I made this a 1, well, I would think I would have to do that. It's really not that helpful though. I mean, I would love to just put a big fat honking piece there. That would really solve some problems, but I don't know if it's that easy. Can I figure out what these are? 1 or 3? If I made this a 3, well, this can only go out to at least 4. Which ones? What if this was the 4? We would have to make this the 3. We would be fine so far. If I made this a 4, this would have to come out. This is a 3. What do we do here? If I said this is 2 by 3, if this is just a 1, we have to do that, and that's going to be copied, right? I'll follow the logic. If I put a wall here, put walls here, how do I fill this in? I can't put a wall there. These two would have to go together, but then I can't put a wall there, so we eventually, the 2 by 2 is going to be used here somewhere. 2 by 3 is already used, so we cannot do any of that. If I bring this out and say this is a 3, now I have to have a 1 by something. It's going to be a 6. And then this has got to be... That's doable. Unfortunately, I wish I'd broken that. What if this is a 3? It's not that big of a deal. We can just do that pretty easily. If this is a 3, you can just do that without a problem. I need to find something to break this shit. If this is a 1, this can't go all the way over. So if this is a 1, I think it breaks because this piece can't be the 2 by 5 anymore. So something else would have to go here and we would be out of luck. So we'd have to have the 3 there, which means this is the 1 and we are in fact correct. So I think we're good with these. Do this just fine. This is going to be a problem, actually, I think. See, if I do this, I got to find a way to divide up this square I just made, right? And this square is 4 by 5. And whatever I do down here, I have a 4 by 5 square. And there's no way to divide it into 2 boxes that isn't the same as the other 2 boxes, right? This, I can't do a 2 by anything. I'd have to do something like this. I can't divide it into a 1 by anything, because I got a 1 by 5. A 2 by anything is taken here. A 3 by something does that, right? Like, it's not going to... I can't do 2 by 4, 1 by 4. 3 by 4 is nice, but then I have a 2 by 4 over here. So I think I can't have this go all the way to 4. I think I need this to come all the way down, because if I do it this way, then this is now still 4 by 5, but this is 4 by 4, which is a different thing. And then I think I can basically finish off the entire puzzle exactly like this, right? So let me start filling in some colors so we can distinguish between what I'm doing. I'm going to say this is red. Now in here, we're going to just do a big blob. We're never going to see that 4 by 5 again. Now over here, we're going to make this nice and long. This piece is going to be a 2 by 3, I believe. Yes, this is going to be a 2 by 3. The reason is down here, this is the 3 by 3, like so. This is 2 by 2. Now here's 2 by 3. I'm pretty sure I'm on the right track here, but you see how I have boxes here that should all be different sizes? So this box right there, this box right here, and then we should be able to just fill... Oh no, those are the same. Hold on, I miscalculated. This is... Oh, hold on. No. That's 2 by 2. This is 2 by 4. It's 2 by 3, 2 by 4, 2 by 2. So this can be here. And now this is better. This is better, I think. I don't think this is better. Don't think I have this. I can't do that. No, I'd have to do this. I'd have to do 2 by 4. This has to be 2 by 2. No, this was it. This was it. Sorry. I had something in my mind and I didn't do what I had in my mind. I said a thing that I didn't actually do. That was very silly. This is it. We should be able to just fill these in. Excuse me. Very much. Thank you. I should be able to just fill this in up here. Yeah, that's it. That actually wasn't that difficult either. Actually, this was kind of interesting. Like, it had the up-front work, but the trouble with the puzzle is once I did that up-front work, it just kind of fell into place all at once, which again is not wrong. There's plenty of puzzles that do that. It isn't wrong. It's just not as fun as other puzzles because I have my aha moment immediately. I had it at the beginning of the puzzle when I realized how the beginning was supposed to be done. And then I never really had an aha moment after that. It was just kind of tedious figuring out the last bits of it. So that is not how I like puzzles to go. You don't want to front load it with something that looks really difficult and requires a lot of upfront work that once you get that work, you now have 20 minutes of just nothing, right? I don't like that so much. However, that's just a personal preference. I think it could be done better, but I'm not going to hate on that puzzle for just having the wrong curve. So what I mean by that is, oops, wrong button. I meant to press that button. The curve of the not difficulty, but like the solve curve. What I want is this. That's what I want, right? Time to solve. Solve. And I can't draw notes on the end because this game is stupid. Solved. And then up this way would be effort. Realization. I don't know what you'd call it. Swag. But I want to feel like I'm reaching a climax and then denouement here. I say denouement to prove that I went to college. So I want to feel this as I do the puzzle. I start off pretty easy. Like, you give me the setup for the puzzle, I figure out what I need to be doing. This puzzle kind of had that. Boxy mismatch, I kind of figure it out. And I figured out pretty quickly about the 1x4s thing. That was a very quick thing after that. But then it kind of felt like I had to do a lot of mathy bits early. So what I got was this. Time, etc., etc., etc. So what I got was this. Reality. Perfection here. This is what I want from puzzles. And a few puzzles in this game have given me this, but a lot of puzzles have given me this. Reality. Reality. A lot of puzzles have given me this, which is to say, the puzzle designer is trying to show how clever they are with something that looks very difficult and requires a lot of work to get into. But then once you get into the puzzle, you don't really have to think hard at all. And that, I guess, is fine, because this moment right here is astounding. It's wonderful. This moment right there. But the trouble is, that moment is not the end of the puzzle. You have your brilliant moment of realization, and then you discover you have 20 more minutes left to play. It's like, I don't know, imagine you're watching a movie. It's 2 hours long. Let's say you happen to know it's exactly 2 hours. 30 minutes in, you have the most exciting moment. And the good guy defeats the bad guy, and everything's good. And now you have an hour and a half left of your movie. I won't say that there are no movies that could pull this off. I'm just saying that not very many of them can do that. And before anyone says Lord of the Rings, because that's the first thing I thought of when I made this stupid fucking analogy, Lord of the Rings doesn't work like this because it's at the end of 3 very long movies. So Lord of the Rings, the climax is actually here. It's just that if you have a 12-hour session here, this climax is 10 and a half hours in. So you do have an hour and a half of falling action. But if you have a puzzle that's meant to take 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour long, whatever, if I do this in 5 minutes and realize I still got 30 left and I gotta do this for 30 minutes, I will fucking kill you with my bare hands. Don't do that. Like, you need to figure out a way to make this moment happen here. That's what you gotta do. That's how it works. But so many puzzles in the game don't do that, and I'm so dissatisfied. Even if it's like this puzzle is, this is a good puzzle. Like, it works in every other aspect. It just isn't as fun to solve as it should be, because I got my kicks 5 minutes in and realized that I still had to finish it. Right? To use an adult expression, I blew my load early, but I still had 30 minutes left of paid time. Terrible. Don't do that. Don't ever quote me on that ever again. Don't pretend I didn't say that. But that's what it feels like. Even when this game is good, it feels like it runs out of ideas quickly because so much of it peaks early. You get your thing done, it feels good, but then you realize you have 100 puzzles left. You know what I mean? And that's not a good feeling. And the puzzle games I'm thinking of off the top of my head that are like top of the line, here's the ones everyone quotes, here's the ones everyone's trying to make versions of. The Witness, of course, because every puzzle game has to be a commentary on The Witness now. The Witness, Portal, the series Portal is usually highly regarded, even though it's like a mixed genre. You got the Talos Principle games, which I have forgotten to mention all this time. Talos Principle, some of my favorite ones. What else would be in like top tier? These are the puzzle games everyone plays. That was it. I had 3 games on my mind. That's pretty pathetic. But like, those are the things that come to mind. None of those games peak early. Those games all lead you through to an ending that features the hardest sets. And you have to work your hardest at the end, but not the very end, just close to the end. Although in Talos Principle 2, you do have to work hardest in the final puzzle on that, which is a little... But like, even in those puzzle games, the climax of the game, like, I don't know, and the puzzles themselves, once you figure out the big trick, you're basically 5 seconds away from being done. That's what you want. Anyway, now that I've done this whole lecture, which, like, why would you take my word for it? What games do I have to show? I have one game that's not even released, and it's not even a puzzle game, and it very clearly isn't at the level of production value of this, so why should you listen to me? Probably because I had to sit through 100 hours of this fucking garbage to get to these puzzles. How much bullshit did I have to play before I played something fun like this, even though this one was mediocre? Where's the one that was, like, knocked my pants off? Not that. That one sucks balls. This one was really good. That one was fun but too easy. It wasn't this. I played this one. Nah, that was an interesting one. It was... No, that sucks. That sucks. What was it? It was up here. This one was awesome. Although I fucked this one up a lot. This one was awesome. Where is it? I played a puzzle yesterday or so that I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Nope. Worst puzzle. Fine. Was it back here? It might have been this one. Yeah! This one. This is the one I'm talking about. This guy had this curve. That's how this puzzle worked. Although, frankly, this puzzle just kind of felt like that. But, like, at least it was going in the proper direction, which is up, in this chart that I brilliantly made. That is correct, that people will be using to discuss game design for generations to come. It didn't feel like this. It didn't feel like figure out some really complicated trick at the beginning. An example of one that did that, although it did it pretty well, was this one. This puzzle, I remember. The beginning was really hard, and then it did this, but actually this puzzle was like, the beginning was like this. I was like, oh, that's really hard, and then it did this, and then it did that. This puzzle was really good as far as that went. But so many of them are, like this one here, so many of these puzzles are this. And I do not fuck with this anymore. If you want to make a video game where this is the puzzle type, and the game is longer than 100 puzzles, get the fuck out of my sight. I don't want to do this 1,200 times. You know what I want to do 1,200 times? I want to do this 1,200 times. And if you can't see the difference between those two, you should not be making games. And on that note, I am going to peace out because I just have 2 puzzles left. I will not do them today because I don't want to, and you can't make me, so there, Mom. All right. I hope you're having a fun day, and I hope that I didn't ruin it for you, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.